Turning our attention to Saturday's action, some of the biggest games of Week 12. We start with the undefeated TCU Horned Frogs on the road at Baylor. TCU favored by 2.5, over under of 58. Who's got a lock for this one? No one? All right, let's go, Danny.
I'll take Baylor and the under. 2-for-1 special. Let's go.
25-0 starts right now.
Exactly. Let the streak start. There's got to be something when you see this line and you see Baylor coming off their worst performance of the year, getting absolutely worked over by Kansas State, and yet the number is only 2.5 versus a team that's ranked 4th in the country. I think Kendre Miller is going to have a tough time running the ball. He's been carrying this TCU offense the last couple games as Max Duggan's play has dropped a little bit. Max Duggan's still been pretty strong on the year. I'm going to jump in the deep end. I'm going to take Baylor. Home dog, still something to play for. I just feel like TCU, the run's going to come to an end. And I think if it does, they'll be able to hold that TCU offense in check. And I don't really trust Baylor's offense to put up a ton of points against TCU's defense, who had their best performance last week. So I think it'll be a lower scoring affair.
Let's go 2-for-1 lock fight.
Fight.
Oh.
Fight.
Now I see what you're doing. It's not cool. You're just fading all of them, aren't you? You're just going to go ahead and fade them all.
I'm the TCU is more emotional. Like I think that this ride is something special. I'm caught up in the moment of listening to a lot of Sonny Dykes interviews this week as he's been going on the campaign trail. And I don't think that he's just blowing smoke when he's talking about this group just sort of just being something special, just having like a great energy about them. I mean, I'm not only brainwashed by an incredible social media presence and the videos that they put out after all these wins. I just think that Max Duggan, finds ways to keep drives alive. I think that they are finding different ways to win. I'm encouraged by the way that they won differently at Texas. And then my lock that I was going to have on this game was going to be for the over. I think that Baylor is susceptible to being able to run against this team. So, give me TCU and the over.
By the way, I talked to Max Duggan on the radio show yesterday, had him on, and I was like, hey, do you watch the ranking selection show? You guys paying attention? And he was like, no. He's like, I had a couple tests I had to study for. I was doing homework. I think we sometimes forget like these kids are in class and still students, but I believe him when he says they aren't paying attention. He's like, we're not worried about it. So
that's what Dykes was saying this morning. He was like, They love to come to practice. Like they just enjoy being around each other. I don't know. It seems like good vibes. So enjoy us having all these different angles on the line to get our Saturday started. Anybody else getting in on TCU and Baylor?
No, I'm just trying to take in the moment. I think this has got to be the first ever
2-for-1 lock,
right?
Yeah.
So many different ways that this could go. Also in the noon slate, figured I'd go ahead and highlight this one. We've got undefeated number 3 Michigan at home with Illinois in town. The Fighting Illini taking a couple losses recently, but still right in the thick of that Big Ten West race at 7-3, 4-3 in conference play. Wolverines favored by 18, over under of 41. Anybody got a lock?
I'm going to go ahead and lay it here with Michigan.
Hater.
Yeah, I feel like there is some chance that Illinois gets down and has to throw the ball a lot here. I don't know what Chase Brown's status is. Brett Bielema, he got hurt at the end of that game. Bielema tends to be pretty coy about running back injuries, but I think Harbaugh knows he needs style points, right? They kicked a field goal late last game to make sure they beat Nebraska by 30 plus. If they go into Columbus and lose close, Michigan's non-conference schedule is pure garbage. They are going to need impressive wins. This is their last chance for an impressive win other than next week in Columbus, which you can say this is a look-ahead spot, but I think Illinois is good enough to where you can't just look ahead to Columbus. And I feel like Michigan can roll here. So I'm going to go ahead and take it and lay it with Michigan. Are there any 17s or are they all gone?
17.5.
That's fine.
I'll go ahead. I want action in this game too. For similar line, it's a big number. I'm going to go over 40.5. I think if they do need those style points, I'm a little bit worried you could see Illinois have some success early, like a game that's 10-10 at half, kind of like we've seen Michigan, and then they just pull away late. I don't know if they get the cover, but I think you could get this thing easily go over the 40.5. So I'll take over.
All right. And we turn our attention to the 3:30 p.m. Eastern time slate with the Georgia Bulldogs on the road to play the Kentucky Wildcats. Georgia is currently laying. Are we still sitting at 22? Yeah, 22.5. Over under right around the round number of 49. Anybody got a lock in the SEC on CBS Game of the Week? Lay 'em.
Okay.
Just going to keep number one, the Bulldogs are not in a pack it in, look ahead spot. I mean, as much as good old fashioned hate means to Georgia, I kind of think that this is more of a spot where they are going to be trying to fine tune this offense. I think that as that wide receiver room is still looking for, trying to figure out who besides Ladd McConkey and who besides the tight ends are going to be the top options. Coach Monken's still doing maybe a little bit of tinkering, and the Georgia sort of style has been to be able to keep your foot on the gas. I've seen that Georgia unders train sort of slip away as they have been pouring it on in the second half. And I think that while Kentucky is going to try to play keep away as much as possible, try to shorten this game, play not to lose by a lot, I don't think that they're going to be able to hold up against this Georgia team over the course of 4 quarters. I see this one. Georgia gets to 30 at least, and Kentucky might have a hard time scoring as well. So give me Georgia. I will lay anything under 24, but I will take the best number, which sounds like it's 22.5.
22.5 is the best I could do for you.
Who is in the lead of is you and Bud, right? Are kind of up there.
Bud's
always.
Yeah.
But I need to catch Chip. So I'll go ahead and fight you on this one.
Let's go.
Fight.
Of any team that has zero incentive or zero need to run up the score, it's the Georgia Bulldogs. I think this game's a headache. I think it's one they kind of have to just show up, go through the motions, get out of Dodge, start getting ready for the SEC championship. Kentucky has moved their offensive coordinator up to the booth. Those eyes are just going to see things as clear as day. And he's going to be able to start calling better play action pass. It's going to help the situation even more. By the way, since he proclaimed Will Levis was the number 1 pick in the draft, it has been nothing but downhill. I think Georgia wins by 3 touchdowns and not a point more.
What happens if Stetson outplays Levis in this game? Does Levis
he's
suddenly
going
fall
to?
Yeah, what do you mean? What happens?
Right.
Does he fall to like the 7th pick in the draft instead of the
Still
6th?
at number 3. They still had him as a top 5 pick. I just don't get me started.
What's going to happen is he's going to get up to the booth and then he's just going to go, "Oh no, it's worse than I thought."
Right.
We've got to do nothing but quick game. We've got to get the ball out immediately.
Maybe
Total
it helps.
screens
There you
left
go.
and right. All right. Anybody else getting anything in Georgia and Kentucky? We move on to the night slate for the battle for the victory bell, the Crosstown Classic. I don't know. This rivalry has like 13 names, but it's the first time that USC and UCLA have played against each other while both being ranked since 2014. And while USC has held the overall advantage, when they have both been ranked, it's totally even. They have split the series 5-5 when both teams have been ranked. UCLA is at home in the Rose Bowl. They will both be wearing their home uniforms. It's absolutely gorgeous as a viewing experience. USC favored by 2.5, over under of 76. Who's got to play in USC-UCLA?
I do.
Let's go.
The first rule of Bill Walton's Pac-12 laws of physics is that the Pac-12 must always do what is worst for the Pac-12. We saw it last week when Oregon lost at home to Washington, and UCLA followed it up by losing at home to Arizona, leaving the conference with 1 actual college football playoff contender. It has to make sure it has none after this week. I'm going to take UCLA plus 2.5. Think there's a very real chance that the Bruins win this game outright. Obviously, looking at the spread, it suggests it's pretty likely. I think it happens, but I'm going to take the points to be safe. Give me the Bruins plus 2.5.
I like that a lot, Tom.
You getting in?
You know, I might be. There's a lot of things in this game that I do like. Wish there was more, well, 37. You know, I don't know if I trust UCLA's defense all that much, but I do think they'll score here. Give me UCLA team total over 37.
Ooh, I like that.
This comes down to who plays for USC's defense, right? Is Gentry playing? A couple other guys that are dinged for them. He's the one I really care about. He's the guy who matters for that defense. He's a difference maker, like an NFL guy. And when he's not in there, teams have moved it on him pretty well. So I think UCLA will be able to move it on them and score a good number of points.
I'm going to go ahead and fight Tom. I'm just going to fight him. I'm a little irritated.
Fight.
Your philosophy is very true. In a high-scoring game, you guys know I've pumped up Drake May a ton. And said what a difference it would make if he wasn't at North Carolina. If Caleb Williams wasn't playing as good as he was, or he is for USC, they might have 2 or 3 more losses on the slate as well. In a high possession game, going back and forth, where you have to trust your quarterback to make great decisions with the football, I trust Caleb Williams more than I trust DTR. I'm going to say the Pac-12's playoffs hopes continue and USC wins. I'm going to lay the 2.
Danny's entire spreadsheet's just going to be red this week.
Exactly. I'm taking all you bastards down. If I'm going down, I'm taking the whole ship with me. And hey, at least this way it doesn't like totally bring down the team record. Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the thing that's killing me is I'm bringing down the whole show record.
I like it a lot. When this thing was at 82 at open at Circa, I was going to come principal on this under, but this game could get squirrely, and trusting either one of these defenses is a fool's errand. So no play there. And but if this thing dances all the way up, like late, right before kickoff, there might be some principles at play, but might have something on this game list.
Lost, the totals dropped dang near a touchdown.
I know. Come on. All right. Also in the Pac-12, on the big game front, in the later slate, Pac-12 after dark hits Autzen. Utah. Was Utah favored earlier? Oh.
No, Oregon's been favored, but there's been some Bo Nix news.
Is it news or with like?
I can't remember who. One of the players yesterday said Bo's not playing.
Oh man, that kid's gonna be in the doghouse for a while.
Yeah, unless it's a deep fake.
Unless it's a deep fake, exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly.
What's or a head fake, right? What's in that in betting where you do the like you send it one way, so then later when the limits open up, you can come in and hammer it. So if you pay a player to say that Bo Nix isn't playing, the line dances out to Utah being favored. Then when the limits go up, you and all your syndicate can come in and smash it. And now all of a sudden you've got the Ducks catching points.
Please stop giving my strategy away for free on the show.
So Utah at Oregon, and Utah is favored on the road at Autzen Stadium, over under of 62. Who's got a lock?
I do.
Let's go.
I don't want to bet the spread anymore because I don't know what Bo Nix's state. I mean, his position is. Maybe he's playing, maybe he's not. But either way, I think the total is a little too high. And if Bo Nix doesn't play, then I think that's going to impact how many points Oregon scores by a lot. So I just look at the total right now. I already like the under. Now that the Knicks thing is in kind of flux, I'll take the under 62. I liked it better when it was at 63 yesterday, though.
It is weird how this number moved. And the total didn't really move that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shouldn't they both move?
I would think so.
I mean, could still be moving, but you could also say that the weakness in Utah's defense is against the run. And while Bo Nix is a part of the run game, you still have a couple backs and an offense in general that still might be able to exploit that.
It's true.
Which is why.
Fight.
Over.
Come on.
Oregon's pass defense, Cam Rising. Utah's run defense, Oregon's running game. I think we can get 9 touchdowns in this game. Let's go. Over.
Happened to the holiday spirit. Like Thanksgiving is coming. Everybody's just like, it's red. There's blood everywhere on the dock.
movements will be made here on the Cover 3 podcast, in the standings, in the rankings, and in our hearts. So yeah, give me the over on Utah and Oregon.